Given the fact that we did see Yago take to the air, wouldn't be surprised to see an aerial antics show right here, Chris, between both of these guys.
No doubt. I feel like I'm in a glass case of emotion. There's so many thoughts and things happening right now. J.Florence, right? He just watched Yago Dora go absolutely berserk. Things are happening quickly down here in El Salvador, and here we go. J.Florence taking a breath, blows the tail, too easy for the world number one right there. Only a one maneuver wave. It was pretty impactful.
Really
I
deep,
mean, for
though.
most surfers, that's a 10. For John, that's him at about 4.
Probably won't play into the final score line.
You hope not.
You know, if he would have went a little bit bigger right here and got to the lift sooner, he might have had a cleaner ramp to do something massive. But like as you know, Chris stated, that was probably like a 4 in his wheelhouse. Even though it was cool, it was technical. You know, it's really obviously. I can't do that.
I'm not going to complain about seeing that.
I'm not going to complain about seeing that, but I feel like in the grand scheme of this heat,
one of the biggest waves we've seen of the afternoon. It's the Pink Panther about to open up. Here we go. Are the bigger ones the better ones? Well, we're about to find out. Big carving turn, huge wall of water to work with here. Big layback jam right in the pocket for B.Perez. You can hear the beach going absolutely berserk. The whole neighborhood's out here cheering on Bryan. Kind of a similar turn to his opener there, but he's got more room to work here on the inside. So 3 turns on a giant wave for B.Perez. First one was a hammer. Turn 2, turn 3, pretty good. Blue collar style turns, I would say.
look how big this wave is. I mean, he's a big guy. That wave's way over his head. And this first turn, he opens up, slightly. But was it this second turn that was better?
Yeah.
And he comes around the corner with all that speed and really lays into that. I mean, that was a rare moment out here right now to find a wave with that much clean face to be able to put that board on rail like that and lean back into it. Another drop wallet and then tries to finish on the inside right here. So solid wave, big wave, and definitely advantage.
Did he surf to the criteria, Mitch?
On the first couple of maneuvers, he definitely did. I mean, look at the intensity right there. Super in the pocket the whole time. To be able to hold your rail like that at that speed. And
John loves this stuff too. Chunky afternoon ramps. A little bit of an awkward fin throw right there for B.Perez, but he gets back into control.
Whoa.
That's a nice turn. 2 out the back, 1 big one. Working his way through to the inside section, pushing the chemistry board to its limits right there. I mean, B.Perez has got some pop right now.
Yeah, he does.
When you mix pop with power, you're doing something good. Quick stall there, identifying a ramp, sees it, boom. There's your judging criteria in a nutshell. The only thing, and I'll get it out of the way first, a little bit of flow impeded on that wave, but other than that, there was speed, there was power all the way down the line, progression through to the inside. That's going to be another solid number for B.Perez.
I mean, Mitchell, this wave was really well served.
yeah, the first turn, as Chris said, a little out of control coming out of it. But when it comes to technique, he's always surfing in the pocket, Chris, coming from behind the section. That carve was ridiculous right there. I mean, slid the fins all the way back. Once again, going back to the power source, keeping it real on rail, and the flow aspect in the back end of this wave was really the most crucial part of how big the score is going to go. Variation, too. I mean, had the nice little air reverse right here, wasn't super high. Get a rotation, though, and it just puts the little cherry on top of the cake, Chris.
It was almost like a little flame air.
Look at this turn
in a good
right
way.
here. I mean,
It's tight, yeah.
Power gouging and finishes. You know, he's got that little extra whip off the end there, and that's just a punctuation of control, and that's taken notice by the judge. You know, it's really hard to complete and finish all that. And
Perfect mix of serious surfing and just good times. It's exactly the kind of destination you want to get to. Here we go, B.Perez, staying active, flying down the line, finds another ramp. Perfect front 3, tail high. He's got more. So a big turn out the back, big front 3, snap on the inside. I mean, he got the memo. A couple turns out the back, big air, maybe some Bed Bath & Beyond on the inside section. I don't know if we're going to have enough time, but either way, B.Perez is feeling it right now.
Well, Bryan's wave was cool too, but he's looking to improve on a 617. Decent turn up into the lip right there. This rotation is sick. Good amount of air underneath his fins right there, and comes around the section. I think he was expecting it to stand up just as well as the previous two did, Chris, and kind of gets a little bit let down right there. So I don't know if he improves on the 617. John, here we go, Chris.
All right, well, we'll see what J.Florence has to say about that. Kind of a quick stall right there to stay in the power pocket. And here we go, the windup. Oh, there we go. Power jam for J.Florence. Another huge lightning strike for J.Florence at a third. The yellow jersey is a blur as he flies down the line. Another big hard carve. I think John's angry, and that's good for surf fans, because that's how he surfs when he's mad. I love to see it. And the crowd, of course, got a lot of them are cordial, going for Bryan, but you can't not cheer when you see a wave like that.
We knew we were going to see it, but, dude, that was sick.
This wave right here, sensational.
Well, and as Strider was pointing out, the combination of major maneuvers, every single maneuver here, Strider, was just a bit different than the other.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, look at how quickly in transition he is right there. Laser sharp, and he's doing the turns in the most critical part of the wave. That's where your money's coming from. You can do a turn on the face all day long, but when you get up into that lip line where those chunky, meaty sections are, that's exactly what the judges want to tick off on the box, and that's exactly what he did. The closer on that, a little flat, but still, beautiful variation of maneuvers. And the quickness of this first snap in the lip.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, pushing as hard as you can, destroying the lip, pushing the fins out the back, and coming out of it with speed was just a beautiful thing to me.
He's got the sickest style.
Look at the sections.
He's so casual between turns, and then he just fires them up.
That's a wedge, and he's just putting everything into it. So that's going to be a massive score in my book.
I could watch this wave all day long.
You probably will.
All day. I might.
Well, it's going to be in the highlight package.
Kind of found a clean section at the end and really ramped out. That would have been a 10 all day long. Here we go, B.Perez answering back. He just dropped into second place, needing a 6.44. Behind a big chunk of whitewater here. Now he gets back into the open face. He blows the tail again. Just a messy section, so that's going to be a throwaway wave for Perez. That's going to leave J.Florence out the back with priority. J.Florence with priority. He's going to block him on the first wave. There could be one more out the back with 4 seconds left.
Not enough time.
Now will John get rid of the 4.33? He will not, but again, masterful tactics in play right there for J.Florence. Congratulations to B.Perez, the only El Salvadorian surfer to ever win a championship tour heat. Should be very proud for himself. He's an Olympic qualifier, so we'll see more of him. But J.Florence, he just went off. 8.93 and a 4.33 for the win. He's in the quarterfinals.
He did go off, but John telling me before that we started this interview, a bit stressful out there to start things off because B.Perez had some momentum coming into this heat. He got his heat started really quickly. What was going through your head as you watched the beginning of that heat develop?
Yeah, the heat was slower than I anticipated, and I think my first wave was a big mistake. I took the first wave, and it was just a closeout. But I mean, I don't know. It ended up being one of my scores. So, but yeah, kicking out of that and then seeing him on that big set was like, I was kind of like, oh no. And it just looked like the biggest, cleanest wall, and everyone's cheering for your turn, and you're like, it's a 10. Like, I'm done. And then, but yeah, so like it's really just kind of holding it together, I guess, until they really come out with the scores. And I was like, okay. But it's tough right now because there's so much bump in the lineup that you kind of want to wait for the second one, but there's not a lot of waves, so you want to take the first one because there's a wave. And you're looking at the first one, there's so much bump and chop, and you're like, I don't know, it just looks like a really hard wave to surf, and I kind of got stuck in that, where I probably should have just kind of kept catching waves, but it worked out.
I would say it worked out. Here you are on the glass, and you've had that excellent score, too, to really put us...
The wave was kind of cool. It was peaked up out the back, and it didn't have wall, but you could see it had this, like, under double up on it, and I was like, oh, this could be a pretty cool wave, and, yeah, so I just kind of took my time, my first carve, and then when I got into the double up, it was just this clean wall that I was able to do a couple good turns in, and, yeah, I was just excited because it's kind of hard to find that nice, clean wall right now. And I can't really remember what I did on that wave, but I finished it.
You did finish it, and you're on to the quarterfinals wearing that yellow leader jersey. Just tell me how it feels to be surfing your best with that jersey on right now.
Yeah, it feels so good. Just having confidence and just kind of being in the #1 position, and just, I guess, like, quarters is awesome. I'm stoked, but I'm here to win. So, wow, that was fun. Yeah, and anyway, it's just, yeah, I'm stoked to be in the position, man. It's having fun.
You've locked it in for Brazil, too. What does that mean to you, this yellow leader jersey?
I guess that's cool. It's all that matters to me is the finals. So, I mean, yeah, that's the goal.